Hi, parents. Welcome to Curriculum Night. I know this is a little bit different than past years, but I am glad you could take the time to come and listen to me share a little bit about your fourth grade child's year. So please feel free to jot down any questions as I am going through the slideshow. And then tonight at 7 to 7:30, I will be on a live Google Meet. You'll be able to use your child's Chromebook and go to their Google Classroom, and there you will see the Google Meet link. And I'm sure they can help you if you have any questions, but I'm sure you'll be able to get to it. So feel free to email me any questions, or I will be live from 7 to 7:30 on that Google Meet. So what I'd like to do is just give you an overview of the school year. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about right now has to do with remote learning or e-learning, and hopefully soon we'll be able to get back into the classroom, and a lot of the curriculum will still stay the same, but a lot of the platforms we'll be using will then be different. So, just a little bit about myself. My family and I live out in McHenry County in Island Lake. I grew up out there and still like to be around my immediate family out there. I do have two sons. My older son is in eighth grade, and my younger son is actually in fourth grade. That's Derek, and Jacob is my older son. We like to ski and snowmobile. I have a family cabin up in Wisconsin, small little town, Sainer, about 15 minutes north of Minocqua, that we enjoy going to in the summertime and in the wintertime too. I graduated from Illinois State University, and I also have my master's degree from North Park University. I knew from a very young age I wanted to be a teacher. In fact, I was probably about 9 or 10, probably about in fourth grade, when I actually started tutoring a younger cousin. And I just got such a thrill out of helping students, um, my cousin, that I knew that I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up. So here I am. This is actually my 21st year in District 21. I have taught at Longfellow and Whitman. So I started student teaching at Whitman, and then I did get a job directly after student teaching, and I did work at Whitman for the first 5 years. And then I have been at Longfellow since then. I have taught third, fourth, and fifth grade through the years. This is my sixth year teaching fourth grade, and I really love fourth grade. I love the age. They're becoming more independent, they're becoming more mature, and I think fourth grade is actually my first choice and what I have enjoyed teaching through the years. So, just to talk a little bit about our daily schedule, in the mornings we have specials from 9 to 10, and then we have English language arts, and then we have SEL. So that's kind of our morning block. As you've probably noticed, your child signs in at 9 o'clock with special area teachers, and then I see them every morning at 10 o'clock. We do have recess now, consistent with the rest of the school, which is from 12 to 1 o'clock. I know that helped out a lot of parents by keeping that consistent. In the afternoon, we do have a little time after recess and lunch to do some read to self, but then we really do jump into math and then social studies right now. However, we will be getting into science in a couple more weeks. And then starting at 3 o'clock, we do have office hours. And the office hours is a time where I have the students work on a little bit of reinforcement of our math skills. I don't really want to call it homework because it's not something that's done outside the school day, but they're the home links that we do work on. So the office hours are also times that students can ask for help on any of the activities that we've worked on throughout the day. Our special schedule, you should have a calendar, but just in case you don't, Monday is Discovery Science and LMC. So Discovery Science used to be every 3 weeks for a half a day. And what they've done is they've actually taken that time and blocked it out. So the students have Discovery Science twice a week now for a half an hour apiece for a total of an hour. On Tuesday, we have PE with Mr. Cook, and we have art. On Wednesday, we have music with Mrs. Guest and LMC with Mrs. Miller. And on Thursday, we have Discovery Science again and PE. And then Friday is PE and music. So like I said, your child should have a copy of the schedule that shows the special schedules, but I also do put it in the daily slideshow every morning. That way the kids can open up that daily slideshow and see right away what special they need to go to. They have a Google Classroom for each of the special areas. So they just use that Google Classroom, click on that Google Classroom, and then it will take them to the teacher's actual link that will get them to the Google Meet. So attendance, like I was saying, does school starts at 9, so attendance is taken at 9 by the special area teachers. And then at 1 o'clock after lunch and recess, that's when I take attendance. So it is important that students are heading back right around 1 o'clock or a few minutes after. Trying to be on time is really important because when I do take attendance, I do send that to Mrs. Zock in the health office. And then she does start calling home just to check in on students to see whether or not they're going to make it for the afternoon. So during remote learning, I'm sure you've heard different ways that instruction is going to be delivered. So these are some new kind of buzzwords in synchronous instruction and then asynchronous instruction. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about each of them and then kind of share a little bit of how we're using the different types of instructions throughout the day. So the first one is synchronous instruction. We will be using synchronous instruction daily and frequently throughout our school day. So this is where teachers deliver live lessons face to face. And this is done through Google Meet. It's done as a whole group, or eventually we're going to be getting into small group instruction and discussion. So we started the year with a lot of whole group just to get the students into routine and make sure everybody understands expectations. And then so that students aren't feeling overwhelmed of working independently too much, I've kept them as a whole group, and then we've been coming back as a whole group too. So then the opposite of that is asynchronous instruction. And we will be using this daily and frequently within our school day. And this is pre-recorded lessons utilizing Screencastify or WeVideo or Google Slides, or we have done quite a few Pear Decks. And these are pre-assigned collaborative group activities at times. We will be getting a little bit more into some breakout rooms where students will be able to actually collaborate and work with others. I will then be able to pop in and out of those classrooms that the students are in so that I can still monitor them, and they will be able to start interacting a little bit more with other students. And then part of asynchronous instruction is also self-paced independent work. So if I do give any kind of independent work, there's a lot of directions and instructions that go into that. For example, when we had map testing, the students did have self-paced independent work so that I could proctor the test and be there for those 12 kids, which I needed to be because there were a lot of glitches, as some of you know. So those are the two types of instructions. So if you hear those buzzwords, just kind of think of it as we're all together, I'm teaching live, or the students are working on activities, but they're pre-recorded or they're pre-assigned. So Google Meet expectations. So these are some of the things, even as second graders or third graders, or even fifth graders and sixth graders, these are some of our district Google Meet expectations. So we're asking that students sit away from things that might be distracting. Sometimes I know there's other siblings or dogs or cats that might be a distraction. So just trying to keep away from other distractions. Posture for learning. We're asking students to make sure, they are at a desk or at some kind of table, especially when they are working and they're writing. So we do have the opportunity, since we sent home a lot of materials, the students do have pencil and paper tasks to do. So the only time I'm telling the students, like, hey, get in a comfortable spot, that would be times where they might be reading to self. I've had a couple students fall asleep too when they're reading. So that might be the only time that I would have them, laying around on the bed or couch. Otherwise, we are trying to ask them to be at some kind of table or desk. We are asking them to have their video and camera on and pointed at their faces. Honestly, it really helps me to be able to see their face so I can see, like, hey, yeah, they're like on a roll, they know what to do. We do a lot of thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, not quite sure, hold on. So, I'm on my way, I'm almost there, but, give me a moment. So, a lot of times we're using hand signals. and just their facial expressions sometimes show a lot too. So we are asking that their video camera is on and we do see their face. If something comes up, they have a bad night, they've been upset or something like that, definitely let me know. And I'm definitely understanding in that way, if they're just having a bad day. Of course, we want to have their microphone muted unless they are talking. So this is kind of like the sometimes students that just like to shout out in class. We've been trying to work on not shouting out and just making sure the microphone is muted and that we do take turns. In Google Meet, on the left-hand side, there is like a little hand raiser. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not, so it's a little strange. Most of the time it's there though. Students can also raise their hand virtually, and then I will know that they have a question. Of course, we're asking students to be respectful by being on time and respecting others. And I think that respecting others has been really positive for our classroom. I really see a lot of students showing respect, and we've been talking about empathy and SEL, and I see a lot of students showing that empathy for others. Students are also being asked to be responsible by being prepared with their materials, by participating, following along, and paying attention. So I know this has been a struggle. It's a very different way to learn. So I've been trying to get in movement breaks, okay, times where they can take their eyes off the screen and take a break so they're not getting headaches. So we will continue to kind of monitor this, give breaks, okay, do exercises throughout the day, just so that they do have that ability to follow along and pay attention throughout the day. And then the last thing is to hang up when the Google Meet is over. So sometimes kids like to kind of hang out and see if I'll be the last one. There was an instance, I know, in the very beginning of the year, somehow the students were on the Google Meet and I was not there yet. That was a complete glitch. So the only time students can be on a Google Meet is if I am there. That has not happened since the beginning of the school year, thankfully. And I have talked to the kids and I've just said, hey, if that ever happens again, everybody hang up. Okay, don't come back, until it shows my name that I'm in the Google Meet. So we haven't had that issue since, but students, if I don't hang the students up and I leave, then other students can come and join. So it's just important that when our meet's over, that they do hang up. And some of them like to stay for a while. So sometimes I have to give them a couple reminders to hang up. It's kind of cute. So, all right, so learner qualities and social emotional learning. So, a lot of times you're going to hear this referred to as SEL, social emotional learning. So, we are focusing on those learner qualities: self directed learner, respectful citizen, and quality producer. And then we are really going to continue to try to work on that collaborative worker. That piece is definitely harder with remote learning. But now that we've had a few weeks and we've gotten used to all the technology and the platforms, we are going to be starting breakout rooms where the students can work together. So learner qualities are reported on the report card. So that is something, as far as I know as of right now, that we will still report. So also though, with SEL, we will be focusing on building positive learning communities within and among the students through a variety of activities. One thing that we do use is called the Second Steps program. And this is going to be teaching life skills such as empathy and being assertive, listening to others. So every week and a half ish, 2 weeks, we will be working on a new skill. So moving on to our English language arts block, okay. We are going to be focusing a lot on our interactive read out louds. And this is where students will listen to text and be given questions to think as they listen to them. So we're really trying to dig deep into those higher level questions and being able to reflect on what they have read and listened to. The interactive read out louds, that's the IRA platforms, will be using Edpuzzles or video recordings. After students listen to the text, then we always come back as a whole class and have class discussions about the text. And then activities may accompany these texts, such as responses to reading or writing reflections. We've done seesaws and class kicks. So there's always some kind of activities that we've focused on that we've branched out from reading those books. We've even done some research. Students were researching jaguars. They've been researched a little bit about tornadoes. So all kinds of little mini, just little research projects that the students have seen to enjoy too. Continuing with our English language arts block, we will have reading skill mini lessons. Students will receive mini lessons on literacy analysis, strategies for reading and writing about um, reading. For example, they'll learn to make inferences, which is reading between the lines, coming up with a theme. We've actually been talking a lot about theme already, the moral to a story. We'll be moving into plot and fact and opinion. So, a lot of those skills that they have probably heard before, but we keep making higher level questions that connect to this with harder text. The reading skill platforms, we'll be using Edpuzzle, Seesaw, Classkick. We will be using pencil and paper activities too, Google Docs, video recordings, and Google Slides, where they will have to interact with the slideshows. The multiple activities will be used to learn and to practice these different skills. And then there will be some form of assessment on these reading skills throughout the different weeks. Most of the assessments will be on Seesaw or Classkick, where you'll be able to sign in and look to see how your child's doing. We also will be continuing Writers Workshop, moving from 3rd to 4th grade, where they did some Writers Workshop. Students will work through a writing process on a variety of different pieces. Personal narratives, persuasive essays, and informative writing. Those are the different types of writing we will cover this year. Also, spelling. So the district actually ordered a program for 4th and 5th grade, but they actually haven't rolled it out yet. So until we wait, Mrs. Cowan and I decided we will focus on words that have patterns or homophones or common misspelled words. We will be sharing more information about our first list of words next week. One activity the students will do looks like this, and this is where they have to take the word, put it in the left-hand column, and then they have to write a meaningful sentence showing that they understand the meaning of the word. So we are looking for not just can they spell it, but are they able to understand these words and use them correctly in a sentence? So they will actually have 2 weeks to work on this one Google Classroom assignment, and then we also will be using Spelling City. So few activities a week for Spelling City, and then those meaningful sentences, and that will be part of their spelling work that they will be able to get done mostly during class or that 3 to 3:30 time. They should have plenty of time to work on it then. Moving into math, we have 8 math units. So we are starting on our place value, addition and subtraction right now. So that's unit 1. We move to multiplication and geometry, fractions and decimals, multi-digit multiplication, which students are always really excited about. Then we move into fraction and mixed number computation. That's a little bit harder of a unit. Fractions are usually kind of tricky for 4th graders. We move into division, which students usually love because it's something new, and angles, and then fraction multiplication and fraction operations. So the math program is the everyday math program. You're familiar with it from previous years. It is a spiral curriculum. So what that means is they've seen a lot of the concepts in prior years, but each and every year it gets more and more challenging. Throughout the units, we will be assessing the students. We will be using exit slips throughout the unit and then a summative assessment at the very end of each unit. There will be a review day. That will be the day before the test. We will do a review, but then there will also be another optional study guide that I will post in Google Classroom. The math homework is going to be something I should probably not call it homework, but the math work is actually going to be completed between that 3 and 3:30 time. I do think it's important that students have some reinforcement of that skill, not just seeing it once, but again, seeing it on a home link activity. I did send out the Unit 1 answer online key. So in there, you will find all the answers to the home links. However, what I do from 3 to 3:30 is either I'm on a Google Meet or I'm through GoGuardian. And GoGuardian is the ability for the students to message me and then ask me a question. So if they don't understand number two, they can message me, I need help with number two. And if it's something that's too hard for me to explain by typing, then I say, hey, let's go to Google Meet. And then I pull out a dry erase board, an online virtual dry erase board, and I can help them walk through the problems there. So I'm always available from 3 to 3:30, and your child can always get a hold of me during that time unless GoGuardian is down. There was one day when GoGuardian was down, so I just stayed on a Google Meet with the students. So again, it's not necessarily homework because it's not outside the school day. It's still within the school day. Moving into social studies, we are currently working on our map skills. Then we'll move into colonies and colonization. Then we'll move into the American Revolution, which the students love learning about the Revolutionary War. We get into the branches of the government and the difference between state and federal government. And then we learn more about our wonderful state of Illinois. Moving into science, we will continue science discovery or discovery science, and that is those half-hour blocks 2 times a week. Our program we're using is Mystery Science. It does incorporate STEM. Um, Not sure how much we'll be able to incorporate through remote learning, but we're definitely going to try our best. And STEM is the science, technology, engineering, and math. The units that we cover, there's 3 main ones. Earth science, where we study rocks and minerals, water on Earth. Then we get to our physical science unit and we get to energy and types of energy. Then we get to our life science unit, and that's on food webs. So LARCs, if you've heard of LARCs before, that stands for Longhorns Are Responsible, Kind, and Safe. So if you have heard of our house system before, students can earn points for their house system. I know we're still kind of working through how we can incorporate house points doing virtual learning. So that's something kind of still to be announced. However, we still want those students showing LARCs. So showing that they're responsible, through their workplace, for example, taking care of their devices and making sure their Chromebook is charged and ready to start the day. During teacher-led whole class instruction, they can be responsible by asking questions, by staying on topic, by using correct hand signals or waiting to be called on. So even though we're not in school, we are still looking for students to be responsible Longhorns. So this was something that the students and I did go through those first couple of days of school, just so they have a good understanding of what LARCs means and then how they can continue to show those LARCs even though we're not at school. So the LARCs also the K stands for kind. So again, just some ideas, staying in your area, turning your camera on, using headphones. That way it's not distracting for others at home. Making sure just one person speaking at a time, listening to others when they speak, giving your best effort. So these are all different ways that our wonderful students, our Longhorns, can show kindness. And then safe, that's what the S stands for. So choosing a quiet space without distractions, using kind words and faces, encouraging everyone to participate, use materials appropriately. So these are things where if I see a student not showing LARCs, I do give them that reminder and that encouragement to continue to show that we are awesome Longhorns and we want to show those LARCs. So something else that I just introduced to the students is our distance learning class rewards, and they really got a kick out of seeing this. So these are different things that the students can earn. So in the classroom, I give tickets to students when they are going out of their way to help a student, or they go out of their way to help a teacher, or they are really thinking outside the box and have a wonderful, elaborate answer. So I give them little tickets. And so I'm going to continue that routine where students will get tickets. But their tickets will go into a bucket, and then on Fridays, I'm going to pull tickets out. So this is just another way to encourage larks and to encourage good, positive distance learning behavior. So then the students will be able to pick a class reward. So these are some of the options that students will get to choose from. And then there's some more even here too. So they're really excited about this. And I think they're working even harder to show those larks. So homework again, I know as a school, we're not necessarily giving homework past 3:30, but things that they should be doing just to show that responsibility, charging their Chromebooks. We do read to self, but if we don't have a chance to do read to self, even if we do, I definitely encourage them to continue doing some reading after school. Complete any activities that they did not get done for the day. Something I've started this week is on the very last slide for you. I have added all of the activities that we covered throughout the day. So those are the activities that would be really helpful if you check in with your child to make sure they've accomplished. And then the math home links, we are, like I've explained already, we are completing those during the school day just for reinforcement on the skills that we're learning throughout the week. And just so you know, I didn't mention this with math. A lot of our math lessons we are spending 2 days on. So in class, we might have only spent like one, or sometimes in class, we would have spent two. But most of our lessons we are splitting into 2 days just so we get some extra reinforcement of those skills. So conferences, don't know how they'll look. I'm assuming they will be virtual. Are November 23rd and 24th. So that's that Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And then just be looking for a Sign Up Genius email and some other information on what that's going to look like, probably at the end of October, sometime the beginning of November. So final thoughts. Parent-teacher partnership is key. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or if you have concerns. If your child is really, really struggling, if let me know so I can try to give them more positive encouragement and help them out as much as I can. Most of you, I think, already have my email because you're on my weekly emails. If you have someone else, another parent that is not currently getting my emails, please just shoot me an email and I will get them in my parent contact list. So breathe. I know I need to think about this too sometimes. These are challenging times for students, parents, and teachers. Okay, we're all working to provide the best experience we can under these circumstances. As a school of myself, I appreciate your support in reinforcing our high expectations for your child or for your children. And keep breathing. Although we've all experienced e-learning in the spring, we have never started a year this way. And what we're doing now is so different than what we were doing in spring too. So things are going to keep changing. So we appreciate your flexibility in advance. Okay. If we're all patient with one another, we will be able to successfully navigate our way through this together. But again, if your child is struggling, if they're having, meltdowns, I have my own kids and I know sometimes they do too. If there's anything I can do to help, I do want you to reach out. I don't want you to feel like you're a burden at all. We're in this together. And if I don't know what's going on and I only see your child through Google Meet and everything seems fine, I can't read minds. I wish I could. So please do reach out if there's anything I can do to help. Okay. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Okay. And follow Longfellow on Twitter. And thank you for listening. And I do really hope we have an awesome year. I do feel we've had a great start. I feel like the students are really getting into the swing of things and they're really starting to understand my expectations. So We just need to keep chugging along, and I know we'll get there, and hopefully we get back to school so I can be an in-person teacher to your child. So don't forget, 7 to 7:30. If you have any questions, please go ahead and go on to the Google Meet. You will get to that Google Meet through your child's Google Classroom, and the link is up at the top. And if you do not have the opportunity to meet me tonight live, please just send me an email. I am available to email you back, or if we need to chat on the phone, I'm here. I'm here to help in whatever way I can. All right. Thank you, parents. And I hope you have a good night and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.